This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome to this Friday rambling of mine. No major topic this week, just got lots of little things bouncing around my head which I thought we could chat about today. I think the first thing really that I wanted to talk about, which will lead on to other things, is the community of the channel itself, which has been an absolute blessing to me, especially since, I mean, there's always been people sort of putting comments up here and there, and supportive comments and all that sort of thing. I've never really come across any, well, a couple of detrimental ones here and there, just from, you know, silly people. They're out there, aren't they? But very few. I mean, I've only come across a couple. And so it was interesting when Dragon's Dogma came along, and even Divinity way back, even at some degree, did it. But Sarah, Dragon's Dogma, the amount of people that started talking to me during that playthrough was just brilliant. You know, like, I hadn't had that much conversation with people on the chat. The channel had been growing really well. I was really chuffed with the channel. People were obviously enjoying it because they were subscribing, but there wasn't really a constant flow of chat and people giving me opinions of what I was putting up. So I am really conscious of it now, because not in a bad way, but in a good way, because when I get that kind of feedback from a game, I know that you guys are engaged and you're going to keep watching episodes. And I saw it again yesterday when I posted up a Xbox One X Dark Souls play. Now, I was a little bit clever to that, because I got the impression from the people that were feeding back to me of the sorts of games that might get that, or might spark that kind of interest. So, not that I'm being, you know, I'm not being overly clever, people, but I did get that feeling from it. But the main reason that it kind of sprang to my mind was because I saw, and I forget the girl's name now, but I stumbled across a girl who does streaming and, well, she does pre-records as well. So pre-records and streaming of her own channel. She's a gamer. She's got loads and loads of subs, and much bigger than I. But I saw her playing Dark Souls, and I was like, oh yeah. I've completely like gone out of my head that Dark Souls had the backward compatibility on it. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure she's playing it on Xbox from what I saw, but not overly sure that she's playing it on Xbox One X. So it came into my head that, well, people might want to see it on the Xbox One X, but at the same time, that it was a game that those people that want to chat about things would be interested in. So, I mean, I think what it is there's certain RPGs that people feel like they can really get involved with. Like, you all know I'm not the greatest gamer in the world. I'm an average gamer. I put my heart into something, I can do it really well. There are certain games I hold my hand up and say, I just can't do that, you know? Like, I don't play COD PvP for a reason. I'm just not good at it, you know? I mean, I can go into a fight with my mates and I can get some kills, but I'm always near the bottom of the kill ratio. I'm always, you know, I'm just not, it's just not for me. And you know, back in the day, I played it and I just couldn't do it. So, well, I could do it, you know, but not well. You know, I was never going to be top rank and all that sort of stuff. So the same can be said with games like maybe Dark Souls, maybe Bloodborne, maybe whatever. Now, you'll see the gameplay of Bloodborne on this channel. I didn't do a full play of it, but I did get stuck into it, and I did enjoy it. But at some point, it just kind of stopped, and I stopped playing it. Dark Souls 3, funnily enough, I have got, but it's actually my son's copy, but he left it with me for when he comes to visit, that we will play it at some point, and we keep trying it and we never quite get into it. But Dark Souls, anyway, Dark Souls, why am I rambling on, people? Dark Souls was something that I just thought, great opportunity to show it on the X, and a game that I thought people would be, it's that sort of game that people think that they can help you with. If you're an average gamer like me, which is where I was going with this, then those sorts of people are like, right, here's some tips, here's how you can get better at this, here's how you can do better at that, here's a class you shouldn't use here, you know. And those are the sorts of things that people want to engage with in a conversation. Much as though I like putting up Skyrim and Fallout 4 and all sorts of other RPGs, they're not necessarily RPGs that people feel like that feel like I need their assistance with, because they're games that I don't struggle with and I do really well on. when I put my heart into them, and they're two examples, but there are many. Dragon's Dogma clearly was a game where people felt like they could help me because it's quite an in-depth RPG. Some would argue that it's not, but it is. There's so much stuff in there that you wouldn't even think about unless you're a massive RPG player. And a lot of the people that get Dragon's Dogma are people that have PC gamed. PC RPGs have always been predominantly more in-depth than the ones that we see on console. Just by the nature of the freedom of a PC, mouse, keyboard, and blah, I think they've just always been more complicated. And I think many RPGs are dumbed down to some extent for the console. Not, you know, not to make us sound stupid or anything like that, but they have to dumb them down because you're working with a controller, for example, which doesn't have the multitude of options that all these other devices have. So I think games like Dark Souls and Dragon's Dogma are prime examples of where people that are big on games that take thought process can have input with someone that has half their thought process. Someone who's a bit thick, people, like me. So, yeah, so I was a little bit clever with it. Now, there's a couple of questions I have about my Dark Souls playthrough. Now, this is what I've done. I have started the game and I thought wisely in my class because I thought, there's a bow with that one, so maybe I can do stuff at distance and blah. Okay, so there was some logic to what I did, and to be fair, I didn't struggle with that character so much, and at this point I was more than happy. It was fine. They're light in armor, so they can dodge and roll and move around quite freely, so I'm happy with that. But what I noticed was when the going got tough and the not so tough got freaked out, I didn't revert to the bow at all. It was like the last thing in my mind. And from what I've heard since, the bow is never going to do like huge amounts of damage or anything like that. So it's not something I can rely on to take out things from afar. So I think I have to just get down and dirty and get in there. I mean, with that in mind, I may well do a second sort of part 1B, if you like, that's actually me doing it again, but with a different class. So if you've got suggestions about the class, now I would say this, right? I understand that people are going to point out the knight to me, right? But I was really keen to do something other than the knight because I feel like every time I do an RPG, it's the bloody knight class. And I want a class that can shift. I don't want a class that's like dead clunky and can't move around. It really bugs the hell out of me in a game. So there was one, and I'm forgetting which one it was. It was kind of near the top. There was one that was sort of between the two that I've picked. It could have been Warrior maybe or something like that. But there was one that had a good sword, a good shield, not so heavy armor, maybe medium armor. Don't know what the secondary type weapon might be. I can't remember. But I was thinking about just doing that first sort of hour again on that class, seeing how it went. I'll record it, and if I feel like it's good enough to put up as a part 1B, then I'll do that. And anyway, with this vlog, you guys can perhaps feed back to me as to what you think your class choices would be for me. I'm not a beginner because I have played Bloodborne a bit, and I do get the concept of the game, so it's not like I'm a beginner, but I still don't compute in a game like that what the best or worst stats are for someone that's maybe not the best player in the world. So feed back to me, people. Give me lots of ideas and suggestions. There's already been people today posting back to me, giving me ideas, and I'm not going to start rattling names off because I will forget someone. I'll do some shout outs maybe next time I do a vlog. And yeah, so I've been really, really chuffed with it. So thank you to everyone who's left comments today. This is Friday the something. You know what it is, people. You've probably watched it by tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, so thanks very much for all of the comments so far. But keep them coming. If I was to start it again, what would you suggest to me to do? Because I'm probably not going to do another video on it or sit down to record one, at least till Sunday, but probably Monday, something like that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, when I played Bloodborne, I was very conscious of... Let me do this, people, before I do any more. Cheers, everyone. It's not like me to have a little beer beside me when I do these things. You know, I like to be clear-headed. What was I saying there? Yes, also, when I played Bloodborne, I was very conscious of the fact that people would be seeing the same thing over and over again if I died. So... And with these games, there are people watching this vlog who might not know about these games, so let me just run through it for those that do. In these games, if you die, all the enemies that you've just killed to get to where you were when you died will come back again when you start from where you were before, which well, strangely, I thought it would be the bonfire, but it wasn't for some reason on Dark Souls. I don't know where I was, but it wasn't the bonfire, I don't think, when I respawned. But when you come back, all the physical actions you've taken, like things you've picked up and all that sort of stuff, that stays with you. That's fine. But the enemies and everything will respawn that you've been through already. You're away back at the beginning of wherever you started. And the souls that you dropped, which is your experience power effectively, will be sat where you died. And you need to get those back. So if you die on the way to those, you lose them forever. If you don't and you get them picked up, then, you know, the cycle continues until such point as you get to a bonfire that allows you to level yourself up. And from what someone's told me, you can't bank them as such. You can just use them when you get to one of the bonfires you can use them on. And the beginning of that game didn't let me use them on any of those bonfires. I'm hoping that every bonfire from now on will, but it seemed to suggest when I got to that specific place that that's... I don't know. Perhaps somebody can clarify that. Is it from this part on now that I can just do that at every bonfire? I hope so, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a pain. But anyway, so yeah, so with that in mind, when you die, you are going through the same area again, killing the same enemies again. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One is, it's highly boring to watch somebody do the same part 3, 4, 5 times. However, maybe it's not. Maybe it's of interest to people who are good at the game to see how much better I'm getting at each time I try that piece. So let me know in the comments, would you rather I edited the videos, or would you rather that I left everything in and see everything that I did in order to complete something? So let me know what you think, and we'll see what the common response to that is. If you're not sure, then, you know, we can try a few with me not editing anything out and see what people think. But I don't want the videos to become boring. Now, with Bloodborne, for example, I think the what was his name, Father Gascoigne battle, which was, I think, the first boss fight or the second boss fight. It was early on, a massive boss fight, and it was tough. And it took me, I think, 5 or 6 attempts. So I edited it down. The bit to get to him, I'd cut that out, and you saw every attempt at the boss. So you only saw me get into him once, but after that, you saw me fighting him each time until, boom, I managed to do it. So if that's the sort of thing you'd prefer me to do, and that, I think, is probably what is in my head as the right thing to do, then let me know. But I know that there might be people that want to see me do those bits over and over again, maybe, to see how much better I'm getting. But I think at some point, you know, they become just, it becomes a grind, and people don't want to see that same shiz over and over again. I mean, it's I suspect what you're going to come back to me with is edit the video down, see it once, edit it down, let us see the boss fights. You know, I think I kind of made it fun with the Father Gascoigne one. I was like, you know, round 1, round 2, round 3, and it just kept looping over. So for me, it was a massive journey. For you, you just kind of saw me eventually beat him. So let me know, again, in the comments below, as to which of those you would like me to do. Edit or don't edit. Alright, so let me know that. I'm not ever going to edit the boss fights. The boss fights, I'll always clock those together, so you see my attempts. But the bits that, you know the bits I'm talking about, the bits to get to those points, if you just want to see those once, then we'll go with that plan. So, I think that was probably all we had to discuss today. Generally speaking, well, actually, that's not true. Generally speaking, I wanted to give my opinion on, don't adjust your cameras, by the way. I do have some facial hair, people. I've never, in my entire life, attempted to grow a beard. And this week, well, I'll tell you what happened this week. This week was, well, it started off not a very pleasant week, because on Monday, I had to go to the funeral of one of my very close friends who passed away at a very young 50, and he was a bit, well, he was much older than me. He was actually my brother's friend at school, but became obviously my friend as well. And he sadly lost his fight with cancer, and his funeral was on Monday. So the week started with that. So I drove through to that, which was about 2.5, 3 hours there, 2.5, 3 hours back. But I already had realised that I had shingles again, people. Now, I've had shingles 3 or 4 times, three times previously, so this will be my 4th time. And it's a horrible thing. It really is. For those who don't know what it is, it's basically adult chickenpox. So if you've had chickenpox already, you can never have it again. But what you can get is shingles. And shingles is effectively, well, it's brought on by your immune system getting run down. So, you know, if it can happen for any reason, whether it be stress, whether it be a physical illness, whether it be, you know, a multitude of things. But if your immune system is low, shingles can pop out because it's basically the chickenpox. Once you've had chickenpox, it's always inside you, and it will spring out if your immune system. Well, it can spring out if your immune system's low as shingles. So adult chickenpox, you can't catch shingles. But you can catch chickenpox from shingles, but I think you have to have like skin contact with the actual area and stuff, so it'd be, you know, highly unlikely. So anyway, so I came back from that, and oh my god, did I feel rough the next day. I was just like, pfft. So pretty much all week's been like that. Now I've managed not to be off sick or anything, so it's been quite good. I've managed to battle through and work, so that's fine, because there's so much to do at work anyway. I didn't want to take time off, but so that was the beginning of the week. Then the shingles kicks in. The whole week's just been like, ugh. So, you know, well, in fact, this year, God, I'm going into a random vlog moment, but this year's actually been, I mean, I suppose, like, it's quite nice to tell you this, because one of the saving graces from this year has been the channel and the community, and, well, as most of you who watch the channel know, this is my third funeral of the year. My lovely mum, bless her, passed away in September, beginning of September, after her four-year battle with cancer. And my Auntie Maria had passed away at the beginning of the year, February time. God, that's terrible. I can't remember now, but February time, I think it was. So, and my Auntie Maria was my mum's baby sister. She was 10 years younger than my mum, or thereabouts, and she passed away for other reasons. But heartbreaking nonetheless. So this whole year has just been, from a personal perspective, I just, you know, I can only hope that 2018 is going to bring me, it's going to bring me some nicer things than that. You know, I mean, it's horrible, and I mean, my poor brother. I mean, he's. I mean, I mean, he's had a fourth. Well, he's got a fourth one coming because his wife's mum's just passed away. His mother-in-law, but the whole thing's just been a bit rotten. So the one thing that I've had that I've sort of sunk my teeth into to take my mind off of things and to bring me some joy has been the channel. So all of the stuff, all of you guys talking to me, recording my videos and keeping my mind active with that sort of stuff has been an absolute godsend to me. And, well, I guess really I just want to thank you all for it, because without it, I think, you know, this is what gaming brings me. That, I mean, I don't know where my mind would have been had I not had gaming, had I not had the channel to do, had I not had you guys to talk to. I mean, I've got people in my life, you know, that I can talk to, but, you know, it's sometimes an environment like you guys give me is a comfortable place to be when you're trying to make yourself happy and stuff. I mean, I've kind of really, like, I mean, I should be going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, which is what I always do. But since my mum passed away, it's been once a week if you're lucky. I've not been in 2 weeks now. I really need to get back to it. But my mind has just been, just keep doing something that's not an effort, that's just, you know, because much as I put a lot of work into my videos, I don't feel like it's an effort, like, but I just, going to the gym has just been, I mean, the oomph has just not been there, you know. I mean, it's coming, you know, it'll come back, it's fine. I mean, I'll get back into it. But, so I just, yeah, I mean, thank you for just being there as a community for me. And when the Dark Souls and well, Dragon's Dogma and Dark Souls community sort of started talking to me, I mean, those sorts of things, I love it, you know, because it gives me a place to, it gives me a purpose, you know, it gives me a purpose of like, an understanding that what I'm doing is actually having some sort of end result consequence. Much like when the subscribes come in, it's not that I'm looking for a massive number, it's just a recognition that what you're doing is kind of working, you know, and that you're connecting with people, you know. If I think if death brings us anything, it's like how important being around people is, whether it be virtually like we're doing on this channel, or whether it be actually going outside. And I can't stress this heavily enough to everyone who games, because gaming is a beautiful thing, and it's one of, well, it is my biggest love at the moment. Till the right girl comes along, people. But There is nothing healthier than getting outside your front door, even if it's just an hour. Just get out to the supermarket, get out to the gym, get out to somewhere where there's people. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to just get around people, because there is nothing better for the mind. You know, you might bump into the odd tit, but don't worry about it. But there is nothing better for the mind and the soul to be around other people. So never find yourself totally isolated. Always find some way of just getting around people. It doesn't have to be a conversation. Just, you know, anyway, just personal experience talking there. So I'm not quite sure where I was going with this. But anyway, it was a big thank you to you all, I think. In general, I was going to give you my opinions of the enhancements on Xbox One X. Now, in general terms, I'll make this quick, actually, because it's not like I'm Digital Foundry and I'm going to go into massive detail. But on the whole, I've found that all the enhancements have been really, really good, except Tomb Raider, which I think I mentioned in another video. The Dark Souls that I just played, I don't remember Dark Souls being anywhere near as crisp as that. I mean, the character model, the surrounding areas and everything. I mean, I remember playing it with my son and going, I don't think that looks particularly great. I thought it looked okay. But when I was playing it, and maybe it's because I'm on a massive TV and it's, you know, but I don't think so. I mean, I think the back compat on its own has done a great job of making that game look good. I think we're getting extra horsepower now from the X as well, so the panning and everything's beautiful. So I think, I mean, I can't praise Xbox enough for A, the back compat program, and B, the power of the X, because I have got nothing to complain about so far, with the exception of Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider's got nothing to do with the power of the Xbox One X. It's got to do with the fact that they have not spent proper time to fix that game for the Xbox. And they need to sort it out, because it wouldn't take much to do the same that they've done on the PS4 Pro. The PS4 has always played stunningly well Tomb Raider, which is ironic considering that it was made for the Xbox primarily for the first. It came out a year before for the Xbox. So whatever V-syncing they did on the PlayStation, they need to sort that out. At least give us the bloody option to play it without screen tearing, whatever that setting is. You know what I mean? Please give us the no screen tearing option. Would be lovely, thank you. If anyone ever comes and stumbles across this video, which I doubt. Yeah, so every time I put a back compat game on, or every time I put a new game on, I have to say that Skyrim enhanced and Fallout 4 enhanced, beautiful, absolutely stunning. And I mean, you couldn't really ask for more from the machine they've given us. And I hope, well, you can, and I hope that that is the fact that we will see in the next 2 or 3 years, because I don't think Microsoft are going to give us another console until 3 years from now, at least. I mean, there's no way they've invested that much money in that console. I don't think we're going to see a PS5 for at least 2 years anyway, so they won't have any reason to. So what they can give us is not an exclusive for it, but a game that their own home-written games, which are lacking seriously at the moment. Now, I suspect one of those is going to be Gears 5 and Halo 6. So, you know, but they really need more. They need a bigger... I mean, if you look at the lineup that's coming from... I've had that video on this as well in another vlog. If you look at the lineup that's coming from Sony, you know, with the God of War, with the Spider-Man, with the, you know, Days Gone, Last of Us 2. I mean, it's like... I mean, there's so many great games coming. They need to battle with that, and I'm sure they are. You know, I'm sure Phil Spencer's on it, because everything Phil Spencer's done since he came in has been top-notch. The guy is a legend as far as I'm concerned. I mean, my whole existence on Xbox had died. Like, there was no reason for me to go there apart from the back compat program. And since I got the X, I've done nothing but want to play on it. You know, and it's not just down to the horsepower. It's also down to, well, it's partly down to that, but it's also down to what he's doing with the back compat program and so forth. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with the Xbox at the moment. I'm finding it I'm finding it hard to move away from that back to the PS4. But anyway, did I have anything else to talk about? I'm going to check my notes here, people. We have a... Yes, well, there was if anyone was interested, because I did mention a few times that Prey hadn't been on the list of things that was going to be back compatted by Bethesda. It is getting backwards, not back compatted, what am I talking about? Prey wasn't getting enhancements on the Xbox One X, but it is. Now, several people have said they've watched an interview with... Someone sent me a link to it, which I haven't watched yet. Now, thank you for the link as well. We haven't got around to it. But there is a link of somebody from Bethesda talking about the game, and they did confirm that there will be support for the Xbox One X on Prey. So, I haven't actually got back to Prey since, I don't know, about a week or so ago. So, it's a nice excuse for me maybe to leave it alone for a little bit and see what happens. So, I actually tweeted Bethesda and said, please give us enhancements for, you know, it plays beautifully, to be fair to it, but you can see it might just be a bit crisper if they can get the enhancement on it, maybe 4K and what have you. So yeah, let's hope for that. And I think that's us, people. I think that is it. So, well, I know that is it because I just checked my list. There's me phone saver. Look, hey, bit of Ellie and Joel. Nice. Well, there you are, people. It has, as always, been an honour and a privilege serving for you in this Friday night vlog. I'm going to go off and have myself a couple of cheeky cheers. If you have any brains about you at all, you'll go and do the same thing. And I shall see you next time. Take it easy, folks. Bye.